Good afternoon. Disappointed in the outcome from Saturday, but encouraged by the fight of our team and the character they showed to be able to stay together and give us an opportunity in the fourth quarter to be able to score 14 points and cut the lead to 7 with 3 minutes to go. But then back to one of the points of emphasis and focus, which is to finish. And defensively did a lot of good things throughout the game, but didn't finish out the half, didn't finish out the game there, gave up that long run, held them to 56 yards rushing up to that point, and then gave up a 75-yarder really to kind of make it very difficult. So disappointed in that, obviously. Didn't run the ball good enough, and that's pretty clear. Too much pressure on our quarterback, but just bottom line is it's a team game, and both sides had opportunities, and got to go back and, as we have done, and looked at everything and continue to evaluate and continue to improve in the areas that have to be addressed and move forward. I think our young defense is growing. 9 tackles for loss and 3 sacks, 4 takeaways against that team is the kind of performance that you want in those areas, but have to continue to focus on the little things. And you get guys dinged up and new guys are playing, and a young team gets even younger pretty quickly at times when things happen a certain way. And so that's part of the growth process of our team. So had an opportunity with a really good team at home and didn't take advantage of it. So moving on to Rutgers, that allows us to be able to focus. As we wrap this last one up before we get to there, I just do want to say, as we always do each week, the guys that we recognize for performances. For our scouts, Sam Slusher and Jonathan King were defensive scouts of the week. Jonathan's really continued to develop and grow. One of our true freshmen, and Sam continues to give us tremendous effort in all that he does and helps our team get better. Offensive scouts of the week, Aiden Rafferty, David Felton, and Justin Berry. Really appreciate all the work that they do, making us better every day and letting us be prepared offensively and defensively. Owen Streeter is our scout team's player of the week and the effort he gives us on special teams during practice. And offensively, Walt Fillior was our offensive player of the game, 13 catches, 148 yards, and a big touchdown that gave us a chance. And then defensively, Jonathan Crawford continues to play at a high level, led our team in tackles, and another tackle for loss, and recovered fumble, and just really proud of him and how he's leading and how he's performing during his senior season. And Logan Justice continues to be consistent, kicking 2 field goals, and big one there at the end to give us a chance to make it the type of game where we could go down and to score to win it at the end if possible. So positives and negatives, as is often the case in a setback, but focused on the things we have to improve, and we will continue to get better. Rutgers, a team that Big Ten Conference game that we know is very important to us and to our program as we get on the road. Road games in the Big Ten are always huge for us, and be able to focus on improving as a football team, addressing our areas as we have to address them, and keep getting better every time we take the field. And really talented young quarterback that, as a true freshman, always has ups and downs in that area, but can really throw it and does all the things that you want in regards to a guy at that position. And talented running backs. I know they haven't played the way that they want to, but the bottom line is that we will have to be prepared for a tough battle. We went there 2 years ago, my first year here, and we're not sharp. And that is a vivid memory in my mind of how we played in that game as a team. And so the objective is to be on the road, playing a noon kickoff game. It's going to be a very important opportunity for us to be at our very, very best as we play Big Ten Conference game at Rutgers. Questions?
You talked about WAP. He seemed okay after the game, but he seemed to have something that was kind of bothering him during the game. Just kind of, is there anything long-term concern with that? And also Luke, kind of what's his status going into this week?
Yeah, WAP was hobbled a bit, as you could tell, but he's a tough nut and fought through it. So hopefully continue to get him better. But he made plays and had to kind of keep him going back and getting some treatment and getting it squared away. But he wanted to stay in there, and he was able to obviously stay in there, and I think he just needs to continue to work to get better. Regards to Luke, it'll be a game time decision. Don't know yet the status. He's obviously improving, and so getting closer for sure. So love to be able to get him back, but we don't know for sure if he will be. But need to have everybody as possible that we can get healthy, and if they're healthy, they'll play. If not, then we'll have other guys take their place.
How about Cam Jones, too? It looked like he got a little banged up.
Yeah, he had to come out of the game. So, once again, he's on our list of game time decisions. We won't know until later in the week. Definitely do not know right now if he'll be available. One encouraging thing in that position is we have several guys that we feel have the ability to do a great job there, which is not was not in that way in the past. And so, but got guys there that will be in position, got some good work today with a couple younger guys, and get them ready to go if they need to be able to, play that position.
Yeah, in addition, Marcelino has to sit out the first half as well. So we saw Fitz in there. Is Isaac James another? Who all are you talking about there?
Yeah, Fitz is a guy that's played that position actually in the spring, played it, and I think he's a very natural guy there. So he'll be getting a lot of reps, and then Jamar Johnson as well. Is a young man that I feel has the skill set, as I've already mentioned, can play all 5 spots in our secondary. And so those will be the top 2 guys working that position outside of Cam as he develops or works to get back. And Marcelino will be not available until the second half.
Tom, you mentioned the running game. Against Michigan State, obviously it's a top flight defensive line. How much of it was a matter of just not executing, and how much of it was just what Michigan State was doing? And
a little bit of both. You got to give them tremendous credit. They're really good in the box, and they're hard to move because they're so physically strong. They're so well coached, and they use their hands well. And we had some errors. We had some from technical scheme, not executing it right, and then also them just disrupting. And that's why that part of the game is so huge, and it's hard to get things going when the line doesn't hold up, and it's hard to stop somebody if you can't do it on either side. So it's just a matter of combination of both. I think that they're really good run defensive team for sure, and it showed on Saturday night. But we have to find a way to run the football.
Coach, I'm guessing that you see that targeting as a teaching moment, but I mean, what do you tell your guys about with a quarterback sliding into them in a situation like that?
It's really challenging, and I'm trying to be as real with them as I am with you about everything, and that is that it's a tough position to be put in. I get it. I understand they want to protect, and I want them to protect the quarterbacks. I understand that completely, and I fully support that. It's just hard when and I'm a defensive guy, so I played the position, I played linebacker, so guys running at you full speed, and he's a big old guy. He's got the ability to run you over. He's shown he can do that on film, and then on the last minute he slides, and so it's hard to just completely avoid. So there's 2 things. Number 1, we say never lead with your head, ever. Don't lead with your head. If you put your head down, you put yourself in position to be called for that. And number 2, you've got to understand it's quarterback. I mean, it's a different position. They're going to treat that guy different, and when he slides, he's to be protected, and he should be. And so you have to, if you don't lower your head, you have the ability to try and avoid the contact to his head. That's what you're trying to do. So, those are just tough calls. I said it before, it's a tough break. I said it to our team, you just got to understand, and that's the first one we've had since I've been here. That's 3 seasons worth, almost 3 seasons. And so we work really hard to teach our guys to hit. We talk about lowering our target for where we hit defenders to avoid these types of situations. But when it's a quarterback sliding, man, it's tough. And we had the same thing happen with our quarterback, and it wasn't called. And so that was my biggest challenge was with that whole comparison. So I want that position protected, but I also want it called equally the same, on both sides. And so, but it's a tough position to be put in as a defender, and I've seen it, seen guy, and I just hate that you get kicked out of the game for it, but that's part of the rule, and so that's the part I didn't feel like that was accurate, but I've had situations in the past where I didn't agree with calls, and there'll be more in the future, I'm sure. So, and I thought Marcelino handled like a man. I mean, he was torn because he felt like he let his team down by not being in there, but he just realized, he said, Coach, I understand, and I'm going to make sure I got get these other guys ready for next week, first half, and I'll be ready to go in the second half. So it's just a teachable moment for our whole team on how you handle those kind of situations on the field.
Coach, it seems that the defensive signals have been coming in a little bit slower than we've seen in the past. What's the challenge of getting the information to your guys in a timely fashion while also making sure those young guys get set in a timely fashion? Yeah,
I would say, and there's different reasons for that. And you go through and you play certain styles of offenses and you try to look at formations too before you make the calls. And so that's kind of different things you try to do. And so rather than just, see the personnel and just make a call before they ever line up, and so it's all based on their tempo and how much time you think you have. And so you're trying to wait as long as you can, and the other part of it too is that people are really, really good at stealing signals. Okay. And so you want to be able to wait as long as you can. So there's just always there's a lot of things that go into it. In a perfect scenario, you'd love to have the guys have the call way in advance. So they have plenty of time to make all their adjustments, and especially because we're young. But sometimes we don't have that luxury, and you're trying to get the right call for what you're seeing and let our guys get adjusted. So it's definitely a challenge for sure. But you want them to be able to get their feet set, get their eyes right, and play football. If we get that done, we feel like we got a lot better chance of being successful.
A couple of guys said this morning that on the jet sweep there was a misalignment.
Yeah.
So.
And you go back to, we were down to our third string guy that didn't get a lot of reps at that, unfortunately. But as a matter of fact, I use that as a teachable time for our team in this morning's team meeting and say, hey, we got down to our third string guy was on the field at a critical time to go win the game, or give us a chance to go win the game. And so that just tells me you better be ready. If you're a third string guy and you think you may never see the field and you're not preparing the way you're supposed to prepare, you better, because you may be in there, because that circumstance happened to us during the game. And so, it's just and it's tough to get those guys. They're not going to get physical reps. They may have to just be mental reps during walkthroughs or be on the side watching things or watching film. And so just a great reminder for all of us that's obviously part of it too. And, just it was a call we worked on and had used many times. And we were more aggressive for sure just because of the situation trying to get. But we had 3 timeouts, never really talked about an onside kick because we didn't need to. We had 3 timeouts and 3 minutes to go in the game. And you have to stop them regardless or else you're not going to get the ball back. And so bottom line is if we didn't have timeouts, we'd had to kick it onside kick for sure. But when you have timeouts and, and the thing that really is frustrating is we called a call for that purpose. We thought they were going to fake it, and so didn't execute it, and that's really, get you. If you get caught off guard, hey, they got us. But they didn't because we studied them. Matter of fact, we had extra time we spent, even in our meetings the day of, because they had a history of doing that, in other games and even years in the past. We go back and showed video clips of several years ago. They did one against Notre Dame in overtime, showed that exact clip, And so anyways, so we made a call for that purpose and didn't execute it. So that's really, frustrating. But they did, and that's why they won the game, So give them credit where credit is due.
Also, Coach, speaking of guys that are banged up, looks like Jacob Robinson was out. Is any update on where he's at?
Yeah, he was, and it was something that happened during practice last week, so really didn't expect it at all, and we're trying to get him ready to roll. So he's a week-to-week situation right now. Don't know what his stats will be for sure this week, but important guy for us, and want to get him back as soon as possible. So, but yeah, he's definitely did not play, did not dress.
Forgive what probably seems like a weekly question at this point, but Mike Penix didn't play Saturday. Are you still of a mind to be trying to find him snaps in given situations, or maybe are you getting to a point in the season where you would consider trying to protect that red shirt if you could?
Well, right now you look at it, you have, he's played in 2, and so you have 2 more to work with. So it still gives you that flexibility, but I think that at the same time, as I've said before, he's our backup quarterback. He's our number 2 quarterback. And so, I expect him to play, and so we'll see how that all ends up, working itself out. If it continues to be the case where he doesn't play enough and you have a chance to redshirt, I think you have to use it as a thought, but right now when you're the backup quarterback, chances of that guy playing is pretty high. And so, but that final decision has not been made yet, no. Obviously, got 2 more games left to work with, and we'll see how that plays itself out. All right, thank you. Have a great day, Elio.